Beats, a well-known brand. Maybe not for the quality of the sound itself, but for the way of fashion. And we all know Beats for heavy bass and not so cheap price. But it does look like Apple is about to change the course with Beats. And so these are Beats Studio Buds. But are they enough to replace your AirPods Pro? Spoiler alert, yes and no. But let me explain. So of course, quality of the sound may be the most important point when you have to choose your new headset. So there is a still heavy bass in Beats Studio Buds, but not so exaggerated as before. And what I can also say is that Beats wasn't really good. I had that feeling when I listened to some of the songs that voices had some kind of lead on. I can feel that it doesn't have so balanced quality of the sound. But don't get me wrong, they are actually okay for the price. So you have also keep in mind that you are not allowed to change or customize the EQ. But overall, it's okay sound. So AirPods Pro has weaker bass, of course, but the quality of the sound is way better on AirPods Pro. So transparency mode. Like I said before, Beats are actually not so good on Beats Studio Buds. And this is also what I think that made the transparency mode on Beats Studio Buds not so good. Really weird sounding voices when I had the transparency mode on. And I also had to take them out from my ear when someone was talking to me. So because of just okay Beats, the voices doesn't sound natural compared to AirPods Pro, which makes you to have AirPods Pro on for hours. And I also got to experience when I walked past bigger cars or trucks, some kind of vibrating sounds. So this was experience that I had with transparency mode that I didn't had before. I feel that I really can trust transparency mode, and I would not use the transparency mode on Beats for hours. But like I said, you have to keep in mind that Beats are just okay, and it can affect the transparency mode. So overall, transparency mode on AirPods Pro is way better. So active noise cancelling works fine, nothing amazing. Of course you're going to get less battery, so it's about 5 hours with ANC. It doesn't block generally the all sounds. So I can still hear quite loudly the TV and so on. I can also hear some kind of noises, but generally speaking, it does the job. But I think that I could expect more if I think about the price. So like I said, it works fine, nothing amazing, but it does the job. I have to be objective about other things. If there is some kind of cons, so there has to be some kind of pros. So speaking about the price, the cost is about $149, and in Sweden is about 1,300 up to 1,900 Swedish crowns. It depends on where you are buying them. When I think about the design, it's quite interesting. It has been a rumor about redesign AirPods Pro without the stems. So I guess that Apple just adapted it on Studio Buds instead. The case is a little bit too big and too chunky, in my opinion. But the magnets inside are actually really strong and hold the buds really good. There are also many different color options, because this is the way how Beats works. The color that I have is called Moon Grey, and it's amazing. Compared to AirPods Pro, they actually fits and stays better. Meanwhile, I train or run, I can feel that design is more plastic compared to AirPods Pro. But I think that it's because of the design itself is more matte plastic than glossy plastic. And I guess this is why they fit and stays better. And it also had the benefit with more scratch resistant. Like I said, the battery is about 5 hours with ANC and 8 hours without ANC, and about 24 hours with the case. But of course, the real numbers may be different. And the buds also use the Bluetooth 5.2. The downside is of course the lack of wireless charging. But it does support charging with USB Type-C, which for me is the biggest plus in the buds. The other downside, the buttons are too sensitive. It's quite easy to accidentally press the button, but you can also customize the buttons, so you can decide if you want to use Siri and so. There are also lack of other functions from AirPods, like no spatial audio, and for example, easy way to switch between the devices. It's because the headset doesn't have H chip. So Apple actually made some type of updates in software to make it easier to switch between the devices, but it's still not that seamlessly compared to AirPods. Android users, however, doesn't need to worry about it, and it's also really easy to pair the buds with both Apple devices and Android devices. So the buds pops up directly on the screen and you can pair them really easy. Should you buy Beats Studio Buds? If you think about the budget, and keep in mind that those are on Apple type of budget, you should consider them. Like I said, works really good with both Android and Apple devices. But if you don't have to think about the budget, you should consider AirPods or even some pair of Sony headset. Generally speaking, Beats Studio Buds are not so bad. You get the headset with quite okay sound quality, but I think that price itself should be quite cheaper. However, Apple needs to fix and work more with transparency mode. I hope for the future of Beats that Apple actually can bring something more fresh and more value for money. I guess this is the way for Apple, that people actually can take Beats more seriously. So thank you for your time that you watched this video, and consider to subscribe for the future content. As always, it was good to talk to you, and to the next time. Bye.